Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Westworld Season 4, Episode 2, Well Enough Alone. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos of my vast video library and pops that appear just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you feel like gambling, you can hit the bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. You can go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I change it out every week. Also have all the links to my social media there and all the link to my pages. So, yes, I know it's 4th of July today, and people probably aren't going to be coming in, but hey, that's perfectly fine. You guys can watch this later on as a video. And sorry, I'm a little bit late. I did say I was going to be on at 3 o'clock my time. I ended up being here like an hour later because, well, shit happens, during the week. So, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section, giving you enough time to look away or pause, whatever you're going to do. All right. So, where do we leave off here? Well, actually, we start off with we see what Clementine is up to. We had lost Clementine before, and we see that she's in some Spanish-speaking country. Don't know exactly where. And she gets home, and who's waiting for her? But the man in black, and he wants to know where Maeve is. She's, basically tells him, "Fuck you." Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. And so he slits her throat. And that's where we leave off with that. Caleb and Maeve, on the other hand, are going and looking for the senator, who is played by the dad from Heroes, by the way. And turns out that both he and his wife have already been turned, or not turned, I should say, have become hosts. William has replaced them with hosts at this point. And Maeve is having problems shutting down the hosts when she does the seesaw functions, freeze, whatever. And it looks like William has upgraded the host's abilities to resist Maeve a little bit. So she needs to upgrade her little bag of tricks in order to take care of them. Um, she ends up looking into the senator's mind and finds out exactly what happened. And William, of course, has replaced 259 senators so far. And yeah, that's a little bit frightening. So what we're going on right now is and I remember Lisa Joy talking about this, is that they're following Future World. So if you go back to the old 70s movies, Future World is the one where they're talking about replacing all the world's leaders with hosts or robots or androids, whatever they were at that point in time, so they could get a new world order. Only this time, it looks like the host William, the robot version of William, is doing this, or so we think so far. But as we go along, we find out that it's actually Hale, the robot version of Hale, who is still on her world domination spree. And she is the one that's behind this. And she actually has real life William trapped away in one of the rigs, like you've seen from season one, how the host bodies get made. Um, so Sirius says, I'm glad they just came out with that up front and not dragged out the mystery. Is it really William? What does he want? None of that. No, they kind of showed it up front, Sirius, and I'm fairly sure in the 2-year hiatus that they had, they took it to heart that a lot of people were bitching and moaning about how mystery box it was, and just get to the fucking point. I being one of them too, saying, stop beating around the bush, just get to the goddamn hope, to the point of all of this, that, we want to see what the story's about. Stop just trying to do mystery box stuff. Mystery box is fine for the most part. But it's best left to JJ Abrams and his brood of people to do that kind of shit. How about its own ass? About how Up Its Own Acid became, yes, exactly. Yeah, we're not gonna get Anthony Hopkins back. I'm fairly sure we're not getting that. That's not gonna happen. But we are getting Bernard back next episode. Anyway, on that note, we find out, that there is a new Delos has come back from the ashes, shall we say. Maeve and Aaron, Maeve and Caleb end up, well, they find the real senator's wife. She is absolutely batshit crazy because Hale has been experimenting on humans. The senator's wife being one of them, we find that out as well. And she's surrounded by these flies as she's cutting open her horses and digging into their entrails. And obviously, the flies, as we saw in the first episode, are controlling humans in some way. And she imparts a message from William, and it looks like she actually receives it from the flies at one point, and tells Maeve and Caleb that they're invited to go to the opera house in L.A. Yeah, to I think Don Giovanni, the opera, and she ends up, of course, getting killed by Maeve. Maeve shoots her in the head and says she's too far gone anyway. We couldn't get any more information out of her. She was fucked essentially. So when Maeve and Caleb, of course, go to the opera hall, there is just a gramophone that is sitting on top of the stage playing John Giovanni. And when they take the needle off, there's an opening that goes down. And it's all reminiscent of season one when William in episode two ends up going into the hallway, and there's a door at the end of the hallway. And there's a party going on at the end of the hallway. They're in the doorway, and they're all humans. Maeve can't, she can't detect any hosts at the moment. Um, and this room ends up being a train is what ends up happening. It ends up taking them, and they're going away from Los Angeles. They see that they're outside of Los Angeles at this point. And that is when Sophia, who is the new Clementine, if you remember when Clementine got replaced by Sophia by Lily Simmons is the actress's name. She ends up showing up and saying, "Hey, we want you. Where's your invitations?" And we're going through the whole motion again of going into the park like William did in episode two of the first season. And the park is being reborn again, as we see by host William um, addressing a crowd saying that it's the golden age that they're going to be reiterating at this point. And the golden age is actually a 1930s kind of town called Temperance, and that's where Caleb and Maeve end up. And it seems a little bit like Sweetwater in a way, just 1930s instead of the 1880s. Sirius says, I don't get why she makes Maeve kill her when the cartel guy just killed himself. I don't know, Sirius. That's a good question. We don't know what Hale's motivation is for keeping some humans alive. Like she was telling the one Department of Justice guy who was sniffing around and just would not let it go, who she zip tied his neck to the car seat and then let the flies get him. She said, we don't want to kill all the humans. I just want my children to be able to grow and flourish, as she says. So obviously the flies are there to control people. Obviously they're getting in through the nose, mouth, whatever, eyes, and controlling people. And I don't know. I don't know what her scheme is, of all of this. And I mean, well enough alone. The title of itself is, an old song, "Leave Well Enough Alone," which is there's a Popeye cartoon. There's an old Popeye cartoon from the 1920s, 1930s. I believe it's 1930s, black and white, where it was a catchy little song, "Leave Well Enough Alone," and it was kind of a tune that was being used by, and I hate to say this, especially given our day and age that we have going on, isolationists who did not want to get involved in World War II. And so this was their whole shtick of, not getting involved in the war and leave well enough alone kind of thing. And yeah, I kind of had a little chill at my spine when I started thinking about it. And Yeah, there's a couple different things there. So, Sirius says he should have just squashed 11 like a tin can, rookie mistake. Uh, who are you talking about? The Department of Justice guy? I don't think he would have been able to, quite honestly. So, yeah. Um, so yeah, decent episode all the way around. Temperance, I have a feeling is going to be Sweetwater Part 2, version 2, only in the 1930s, which means you're going to have prohibition going on. You're going to have speakeasies. You're going to be able to use the same kind of storylines they had in Sweetwater versus Temperance. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see why this is coming about now. And then also, Bernard and Stubbs are back again. I saw the trailer at the very end for next week's episode. So Stubbs and Bernard are back, and they're bringing along some new woman as well. We don't know who this is, but yeah, this is going to be fun. Also, it's a 7-year jump from where we left off in. So we know it's a 7-year jump from season 3 into season 4. And we know that from William's speech, he says it's almost 150 years since the first Great War, since the First World War. So we're looking around like 2060s, 2065, I'm thinking, somewhere around there. That's where I'm thinking on the time frame is. So we're in 2065. I always like to find out where they have this in the time frame when they don't announce it, so that's kind of a good indicator right there. Seriously, I knew that Justice Guy was dead as soon as William hit the second hole in one. That was the vice president, by the way, Sirius. So that was the vice president who came in, and yeah, when William just kept hitting those hole in ones and showing that he was actually a replicant. Um, Yeah, the oh shit is right. So they mentioned that the US government was bankrolling now the Delos destinations in the US. So that is why he took over the vice president and why they replaced the vice president. So no, he called him Mr. Vice President. So yeah, they are replacing people in the government and they're getting them to pay for all their stuff. Essentially, Hale is turning the tables and she is controlling humans now at this point, just like they controlled the hosts. So that is what her whole mission is right now. And also growing her children, as she says. And yeah, yeah. No, he's vice president of the United States. Yeah. Uh, I am Saya says per last season's timeline, aside from Maeve, all hosts are variations of Dolores, right? They were I am Saya, but now I don't think that's the case. I think now they might be permutations of Hale. So Hale, because remember the Hale bot was actually based off of the real Hale, and I think now that because she calls them my children, I think now they're basing them off of Hale themselves. So, and yes, William is not. William is based off of I should say, the Man in Black is based off of the real William. Correct. Yes, that's correct, Sirius. So now we are getting all these hosts that are based off of real people. It's just a matter of how they were actually. Well, we knew that they were actually working on downloading people's consciousness into robot bodies. Remember that was part of the Delos project. That was back in season 2 that we found this out. So with the other founder, his father-in-law, William's father-in-law, and how they fucked up because once people find out that they're hosts, that's when they kind of lose their minds, kind of thing, and that's where the glitch comes in. So kind of like what happened with the Hale host when she found out that she wasn't real, and she kind of lost it for a second, but at the same time, she's like, fuck this. I'm gonna make things better for the hosts rather than the humans. Sirius says maybe the same breakthrough that always take them to take over humans also advance their abilities. That allows them to take over humans also advance their abilities to create hosts. Possibly when she was doing all the experimentation, that could be the reason. But yeah, it's an interesting season now because now we've dropped the whole um like I said, we've dropped the whole mystery box shit and now we're just getting more of a straightforward story. Sure, we have a little bit of the mystery stuff going on, like where the fuck is Teddy coming from? Who is Teddy in this? Is Christina slash Dolores a you know in a simulation at this point? Is she actually real? Who is Maya, her roommate? Is she a handler? Also, this whole Peter Myers thing that she dug out as well. That supposedly he's already been dead and had a wing dedicated to him in the mental hospital. That the Peter Myers who died, that she saw die, was getting wanted memorial funds sent out to. I don't know. It just yeah. Yes, we have dropped the veneer of bullshit. Exactly. And again, I think this came about from there was a huge backlash last season of people talking about just how navel gazing that season was. I actually wasn't I liked the last season. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, I can see the mystery box aspect of it that I didn't like as well. So I'm glad they're dropping all of that and they're just being a little more straightforward on all of this. And there's other storylines where they can just keep that, like the Dolores Christina storyline. That's where they're keeping that mystery box aspect to it. Whereas the Maeve Caleb storyline, they're going straightforward. The William Hale storyline, which is all there as well, straightforward. Um, yeah, I do think it's kind of insidious too that William, they kills Clementine, then brings her back into the fold and reprograms her to use in the Delos project. Maybe Pyro will come back as a robot with flamethrower arms. Yeah. I am says personally, I'm hoping that's all double bluff and everything is real and happening at the same time. Yeah, I would hope so too. I am Saya that she is actually off in another that Christina Dolores is in another part of the world, and this is happening. Maybe it's a Delos town. We don't know because of the whole thing with the one thing I found kind of interesting with her story was the crazy guy that's off on the street talking about the towers and how the towers music that keeps playing, he can't stop the music, only him and the birds can hear it. And when she asks him about the towers, he doesn't really speak to her. He just says, "I'm not crazy. Everyone thinks I'm crazy." And he's not really talking to her, but he's not talking at her. It's just kind of like he's on a program script, like he's an NPC in a way. And when she gets to work, she sees all these dead birds laying all over the place, and we don't know what that is. And of course, when she goes to the mental institution that's being renovated and closed down, she sees a room with a whole bunch of drawings on the walls of the tower that we keep seeing in the opening sequence, which I called out last episode as well. Just saying. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's being laid out here in the first couple of episodes, and I'm hoping we get some payoff on all of this. Sirius says that she's in future world. I think it's hard to tell because the tech in the show is already futuristic, but her phone is very high. Yeah, possibly Sirius. She could very well be. So that's an interesting theory. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Sorry, I'm looking at the dog. The dog keeps going over towards the door, and I've got the door shut because it gets noisy and stuff like that. And she's already been outside. She just wants to lay outside, is all it is. And that's why I snap my fingers at her and tell her to knock the fuck off. She knows you know what's happening when I have the headphones on. Anyway, um, so yeah, good episode. looking forward to see, Bernard and Stubbs come back. And again, I think I said this last season, 2 years ago, that I would love to see a Bernard Stubbs, cop show, and, it looks like that's what we're gonna get in the next episode, so I'm happy to see that. Sirius says, "And there's a guy in the background who says, 'I can't believe this is your first time.'" Um, well, yeah, that was also, in the first episode as well, Serious. Last week's episode. Remember the group of guys coming down the stairs talking about how, "I can't believe this is your first time. We gotta go. It's actually really cool." They're talking about that, and that's when I was like, "Wait, is Westworld opening up again?" I actually posited that question as well last episode. So, yeah, it was 3 guys coming down the stairs when they said that. So possibly that she's in a park, but they said we need to go there. They didn't say that this is your first time here is what they said. They said that we need to go is what they said. I can't believe you haven't been is what he said. Yeah. I am says it seemed too obvious not to be a red herring, but I like my double bluff theories. Yeah, I mean, again, these are all theories until they're proven otherwise. So nothing is wrong. It's like Schrodinger's cat, both alive and dead at the same time in the box until you look, or until the cat bursts its way out of the box. Go, I'm alive, motherfucker. So, it's a meme that's out there. Just look for it. Yeah. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the rest of the day. What else do I have going on for the rest of this week? I went Sirius says, yeah, could still fit. Also makes you wonder why they would say that unless they're trying to play up her mental instability, questioning her own sanity. Um, Possibly. And again, remember, she hooked into Rehoboam, whatever, however you pronounce that fucking name. So she hooked into that. So we don't know if she is still like hooked into that and this is what's going on. If she is really in some other place and Rehoboam and her have merged or what's going on and all of that. Yeah. Roomba. Yes, exactly. Roomba. Uh, I am Silas, and thanks to the boys, I can't help thinking that Maeve is acting quite brave. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I know it's Latin, and I never took Latin, so, yeah. Anyway, so with that said, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be the contest results for this little guy, Pogo. This is a Funko keychain for the Umbrella Academy. So if you go and take a look at last week's is worth my time, the Umbrella Academy season 3, that is where you can, as long as you're within the continental United States, you can post a comment, however many comments you want. You're still only going to get one entry, and you'll be in the running for this guy. So uh, Pogo's eyes are creeping the shit out of you. What do you mean? I don't see what you're talking about. Anyway. And Wednesday is going to be Miss Marvel. Thursday, I'm going to be off. Friday is the season finale of The Boys. Friday, I'll be off. And then Sunday will be the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the weekend, news, genre stuff you guys want to talk about. Or it'll be spoiler alert, depending on how much news there is. And then we roll back around to Monday with Westworld. So I am Sias says, okay, so someone deep dived in last seasons. Okay. Why is he cross-eyed? He's not cross-eyed, Siri. He's actually has his little glasses on. That's what those are. It's hard to see, but those are his little glasses that he has on. The little ones that are sitting on top of the nose. So yeah, he's not cross-eyed. Oh man. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go for the rest of the night. Thank you, everybody who joined me in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you know who you are out there. Take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to all the stuff you've been watching, all the naughty, naughty stuff you've been watching on YouTube. And it tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I have it. I change it every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. Wow. Yeah, serious. Subscribe, man. Then you too can't get any notifications from YouTube or get them sporadically whenever the fuck I come on. Because yeah, I mean, YouTube is just horrible at letting people know when I come on. I mean, it's not like I don't try and, I usually try and set this up a half hour, at least a half an hour before I'm gonna be on, so that it sends out notifications to people letting them know when I've got you know, a stream scheduled. But, yeah, YouTube does not like sending shit out at all, any notifications. Even if I send it, if I set it up like an hour or 2 ahead of time, it still won't send out any notifications anyway. I know, serious. I am Saya says, oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the Rehoboam. Yeah, I know I actually went through that whole the whole biblical thing of Rehoboam back when season 3 was out and talked about that too. So, yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting story and it was kind of an interesting plot, I guess, device, an interesting naming that Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan put out. And by the way, if you haven't watched at the end of the credits, they actually break down the episode a little bit, and you get to see Lisa Joy and Nolan, Jonathan Nolan, and also the director for the series for the episode, and a couple of the actors and things like that. So it's interesting. Mm. Oh yeah, overanalyzing is definitely fun about this series. I mean, you never know what these people have in mind really for you don't know what their mindsets are. There's some writers that I am tuned into like almost spot on. Uh Eric Kripke, for example, for The Boys, I'm 90% there. Like I didn't see last week's twist coming. I should have, but I didn't. Um Yeah, so I mean, there are some people I'm on like Noah Hawley and I, we're on the same wavelength. I mean, that dude and I, we are on the same wavelength. It's really fucking scary. I know exactly where he's going with stuff, and I love the stuff that he's going with whenever he's writing things. Um, but yeah, there's other writers that I just don't, I like to see where they're going with stuff. So yeah. Um, yes, there was a civil war at some point in that, and yes, and 2 separate kings, correct. Uh, yes, Noah Hawley did do Legion. Legion is a great series, by the way. So, yeah, and, supposedly like, again, there's rumors out there that, there's a Doctor Doom series that's coming to Disney Plus, and most likely they use Noah Hawley's, script in some part, and he's been fairly quiet about stuff, and he hasn't done anything in a while. I have a feeling that's what he's been working on in secret and hasn't said shit about it. So, I am sorry. So there were episodes. I'm not sure he himself knew what was happening. No, he knows exactly. He knew exactly what was happening all the way along through that. So, yes, his real name is going to be Victor Von Doom. Correct. As a matter of fact, in Moon Knight, I know I'm getting off topic here, but in Moon Knight, when he wakes up in that weird like German town, it's not German. It's not a German town. It's Latveria because if you look at the lettering on the boxes, it's um, the Victor VD, I believe is what it says. They're actually labeled as to who it belongs to, and it's Victor Von Doom, and he's in Latveria in that episode. Yeah. So they've already introduced him twice now in the MCU. Once in Moon Knight, and then also in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, when somebody uses a time platform, and the time platform is what Doctor Doom had invented. Just saying, they've already introduced his stuff out there twice, so he exists in the MCU. Is what I'm saying. Anyway, I digress. We're talking about Westworld here. Yeah, I don't think so. Serious. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Like I said, it's a Minnesota goodbye now at this point. Thank you everybody who joined me today in the chat, and I will see you guys again tomorrow for the contest results for Mr. Pogo and his wild stare. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you too could be wondering if you're stuck in a simulation, or if it's the real world that's happening, or if you're actually going to a Delos destination and you have a host actually, asking you if you can help changing into some clothes, wink, wink. Thank you, I am Saya and Sirius for joining me, and I will see you guys and whoever else is out there. I see some lurkers out there as well. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, get those shots, get those vaccines, and the vaccine shots, get the boosters as well. Wear those masks because COVID's rising, man. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Stay safe out there and have a good 4th of July. Don't get blown up by anything and stay safe out there. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.